The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. Long hair, don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm styling, but still. I mean, this shit ain't even neat, but you know what I mean? I still gotta let y'all know what's happening, so part of me not being spiffy. But the coronavirus, that shit taking over the globe, we ain't gonna go that far. It's not taking over the globe. But it is 170,000 confirmed infections worldwide, a total of 6,500 deaths. Now, still, most of them have taken place in China. Nevertheless, there are a lot of deaths that are happening elsewhere. 77,000 people are said to have actually recovered from coronavirus, but the experts say that a lot of these people are may have long-term health effects and are at risk of reinfection. Now, a lot of changes happening in Europe. 368 deaths took place in Italy, which is already on lockdown nationwide, bringing their total to over 1,800, their death toll, that is. Spain is now like the runner-up with 8,000 infections and 300 deaths as of yesterday. Spain is the second worst situation behind Italy and like the fifth worst worldwide. So let me get to y'all, let y'all know about some other countries in the Green Wall graduating. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report, but let y'all know about that Rona. Keep y'all updated. Y'all know Rona, she's touring the globe right now, you know what I'm saying, hitting every continent. That coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, you know what I mean, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, it's all the strand of a coronavirus spreading the globe, and it's been hitting Europe hard. Right, I told y'all about Italy. They have over 1,800 infections, but 1,800 deaths, pardon me. So it's going crazy. But the second highest number of cases in Europe is actually Spain. That's and it's fifth highest in the world with 8,300 deaths due to the coronavirus. In Spain, you had the own Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez. His wife got caught with coronavirus. The partner of the deputy Prime Minister got caught with coronavirus. And, people from the far-right Vox Party, they're going to be working remotely. They got hit with the coronavirus. In Germany and Denmark, you have them closing down their borders. And you also have in Austria, they're banning the gathering of more than 5 people, and they're still in the curfew. In France, the government is actually shutting down all restaurants, shops, and bars. Also, you get keep in mind, half the cases under there that are in critical condition are people that are under the age of 60. So getting real over there in the motherfucking Europe. But I'm gonna get to the United Kingdom in a second. Green Wall graduate. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So, the Vatican has actually closed all Holy Week celebrations to the public. So you can't bust it up with the Vatican. At the end of the day, if you're Catholic and you into that weirdo shit, I'm gonna stone y'all every chance I get to y'all get that sexual assault allegation bullshit straightened out, which I got a long road ahead of y'all. Now, but over in regard to the coronavirus, which is why the Vatican is closing off celebrations to the public. You have in Britain, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson's government is getting criticized for limiting their recommendation to self-isolate to people over 70 years old. Then you had the Britain's chief advisor to science, actually suggesting that they should let a select number of people get infected for herd immunity. Basically allowing one person to get infected so the rest of y'all can build your immune system around that. But government officials stepping away from that, saying that's not official policy. But in Ireland, right before St. Patrick's Day, they're shutting down all of the bars and the pubs. So they're taking this shit very seriously. Coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. Green War and graduation. It's real out here. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So this coronavirus, I told y'all, taking the world by storm for real. And over in mainland China, where it started, you actually had 16 new infections and 14 deaths due to the coronavirus. But at the end of the day, the rate is slowing down. So over in China, they're actually offering other countries like Iran and other countries to help them deal with the outbreak of the coronavirus, as now we are officially at where there are more infections outside of mainland China than there are inside mainland China. Over in Iran, their death toll has recently topped 720, with 100 people dying within the last 24 hours. 14,000 confirmed cases in total, and you actually have it was said that 15% of the people who actually died were actually under age 40. People who were infected were otherwise pretty healthy. So they're figuring that out over there. In Lebanon, they have a 2-week shutdown. And ordering people to stay in their houses. Over in South Africa, they declared a national disaster. You have 26 confirmed, 26 countries at least that have in Africa that actually have confirmed cases, and yeah, it's getting real everywhere. I mean, the Fridays for Future even went on to digital. You know what I mean? Shout out to Greater Suburbs, but yeah, they didn't meet up and protest do school strikes because they're adapting to the situation, the climate, as these governments should be doing regarding climate change. And you know our motto with this shit, man. Green, war, and graduation. Oh yeah. Well, I'll get to that in the next one. Green, war, and graduation. What other the world though? The Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Latin America, they're being affected by the coronavirus too. Also in Africa. So you know, let's not make this a color thing. At least not to be too ignorant in the sense like people can't come over there and spread it, because that seems to be what's happening. Over in Colombia and Panama, you actually have they're shutting down their countries, closing it off to non-residents. And if you are a resident and you've been out of the country and you come back in, you have to actually self-isolate for 2 weeks. Now, in Guatemala, they actually had their first casualty to the coronavirus. The first death came actually from an 85-year-old man that traveled to Guatemala from last month from Madrid. Madrid being the capital of Spain. Spain having the second most infections in the infection rate in Europe, you know what I mean, which it puts it like fifth across the world with 8,000 infections and 300 deaths. So shit is real and it's getting spread. Over in Kenya, they're shutting down their borders too from non-residents. So, you know, everybody get in line and get in your house, man. Be safe, man. Green War graduation. What other new world though? The Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So coronavirus is still shaking the nation, the United States that is, with over 3,600 cases of confirmed cases of the coronavirus. The number is believed to be way higher due in the unknown still, due to the fact that enough people have not been tested. The people feel like it's a devastating shortage of tests, and are criticizing Trump and the Trump administration for their lack of seriousness, it seems like, in dealing with this pandemic. A Politico reporter actually told the NPR that he believes that, well, not he believes, but he said that Trump, this was done on purpose so that they would have a lower number of cases, apparently. Nevertheless, Trump did announce a national emergency on Friday, but nevertheless, he still was at this press conference on Sunday basically saying, you know, relax, we're doing fine, it'll all pass. Dr. Anthony Fauci of his own coronavirus task force and director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases basically said the opposite. Like, you know, he's been saying we're ill-prepared and the worst is yet to come. Green War and graduation. News report out of the world though, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So on Friday, when Trump actually declared a national emergency, he did so and made that announcement at the Rose Garden. Now he then goes on to like shake hands with people and they touch microphones over 30 times. The main thing that's being recommended that people do to prevent the spread of this disease is to, you know, social distancing is what it's been deemed as, but like basically keeping your distance, not being too touchy. And this is coming at a time where people thought actually he had the virus, but White House officials was worried that he might, since he had been in contact with Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and his secretary, who was found to have it. Nevertheless, Trump, the White House said on Saturday that Trump tested negative for having the virus. And then over in Brazil, there were reports saying that Bolsonaro himself had it, but Bolsonaro's son came out saying he didn't have it. But the Miami mayor, Francis Suarez, actually did contract it from Bolsonaro's secretary. So that's what's happening. Green War graduation. The new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So this COVID-19, aka SARS-CoV-2, and then it's also called coronavirus. This shit has been spreading everywhere in the United States, but you know, it's not as everywhere as you may think, and some reports may have you think, but people are very much reacting to it now. The House of Representatives early Saturday morning, they actually passed an emergency bill that would that was intended to provide paid sick leave for infected patients, people who weren't being told not to go into work or whatever. But what it ended up doing was only providing paid sick leave for 20% of American workers, due to the fact that it doesn't require companies that have more than 500 employees to actually do that. And if you have 50 employees or less, then you're told to actually you can apply for an exemption, basically a hardship exemption. So it seems a little counterintuitive to me, and standing the fuck around probably vote that in. But that's what's going down. LA Times is talking about how they're not allowing states to expand Medicaid like they've done in the past for like 9/11, H1N1, Hurricane Katrina, and things of that nature. So Green War on graduation. To the world of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So the coronavirus has the United States in a frenzy, of course. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention actually recommended staying away from public gatherings of 50 or more people. 33 states across the nation have actually had some sort of mass school closures, including New York City and Los Angeles, the two largest school districts. You're talking about, a bunch of millions of kids being affected. In New York City alone, which actually has like the highest number of cases at 730 with 6 deaths, they've canceled all schools, so it's affecting 1.1 million children and their families. Then you have also Massachusetts, Illinois, New York, and as well as Ohio. These are states that are like banning restaurants and eat-in bars and eat-in places. But they are allowing for takeout and delivery. Green War on graduation. Hold on, the New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So more on the United States response to the coronavirus, aka SARS-CoV-2, aka COVID-19, coronavirus disease 2019. Check this out. So you have the Colorado State Legislature has shut down. In Los Angeles County, all jury trials have been suspended, and all new trials that are criminal or civil are going to be postponed for put off for another 30 days. You have stores like Kroger, Walmart, and Trader Joe's that are actually like shortening their shopping hours in order to do their part to mitigate the virus. You have stores like Nike closing all of its U.S. stores. Apple shutting down all of its stores outside of Greater China. Disney closing all of its hotels and retail stores. More to come. Green War and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So more on the United States response to the coronavirus. You actually have the Peace Corps actually suspending all of its operations. And keep in mind, Peace Corps puts volunteers all across the world. All of them are being told to evacuate their country, whatever country they're stationed at, and come back to the States. We'll see how that goes. You have in media news, you have the Associated Press actually shutting down its Washington, D.C. office, one of its main offices, after a staffer came in contact with a possible coronavirus patient, and so they're just not showing up to work. 6 CBS employees actually all tested positive for having coronavirus, and then also you have Vox, which actually did have one employee that tested positive for having coronavirus. So they closed all of their offices. Green War and graduation. Hold on, the New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So more on the response of the United States to the coronavirus outbreak, or SARS-CoV-2, or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. It's out there, that virus, and some people call it Rona. You dig? Now, Rona is out here fucking the game up to where you actually have whole the industries that have taken a hit, where like the aviation industry, for example, in order to combat this hit, you have like American Airlines that's charging 75% less for international flights and cutting their domestic flights by 20% up until May. So make sure you check with your airlines or what you might be flying or traveling, or you may even come up with some plans due to the prices that are out there now. So definitely check that out. You have Delta Airlines that's actually talking about a 40% capacity cut, and they're going to actually ground 300 airplanes. Well, keeping that in mind though, Trump has added the United Kingdom and Ireland onto the European travel ban that he tried to keep them off of. So now, no going to Europe at all. Green War on graduate. Hold on, the New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. More on the U.S. response to the coronavirus outbreak. You have scientists at Johns Hopkins Hospital that are actually working on a treatment option that will involve taking the blood serum of patients who've actually recovered from the coronavirus, and hopefully they're looking to have that option available within the upcoming week. Over in Puerto Rico, you actually had Governor Wanda Vasquez that actually shut down most restaurants and imposed a 9 p.m. curfew. Now, the restaurants that are allowed to remain open are like restaurants with delivery and takeout. You have gas stations, you have banks and like essential companies like that. They're allowed to stay open. Also, you had the Federal Reserve in response to what was going on in the stock market. They actually dropped their interest rates to 0%. Which caused the Dow futures to actually drop by 1,000 points. That's a fucking lot for those who don't know. But it triggered what's called a limit down, which basically means that stocks can't go any further down. And that 0% interest rate allows the U.S. to borrow more money, which ultimately inflates the dollar. But here we are. And the Federal Reserve did say they're going to pump $700 billion into the economy by buying up some U.S. bonds. We'll see how that turns out. Green War and graduation. The New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. You can make sure you support the movement too. Check out blackfoxnews.com/shop. Get you paraphernalia like this or other color shapes and sizes, man. Support the movement. Get you some fly revolutionary shit, man. Be heard and influence others to make change. Now, just getting back into the news though, you had a federal judge that actually blocked a rule set by Trump and the Trump administration that basically would have thrown 700,000 people off of food stamps, also known correctly known as the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, like, food stamps, SNAP, all that, right? 700,000 people getting thrown off because basically you would have been required to work 20 hours per week after being on SNAP for 3 months. But now that's being suspended due to coronavirus. That's where we at. Green War graduation. The New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Make sure you catch my mixtape too, so appropriately titled Still_I Grind. Not on that page, it's not on my mixtape, it's on Instagram at Still_I Grind. You'll see all the posts with my songs on there. Me basically off the head, never touch paper with the rhymes that I created, and then giving them straight to you. And there's a link too where you can watch the whole mixtape. 24-minute runtime, straight beat, man. Make sure you check that out. One of a kind nigga history over there. Graduation Party BFN Report. Now check this out though. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders actually had a debate, and their debate was it was initially supposed to be in Arizona, but due to the virus, they moved it to Washington D.C. They had it in an empty CNN studio, no crowd, but them basically going back and forth, hitting each other with shit that you would expect. Bernie coming at Biden for being an elitist, which he is. You know what I'm saying? Biden coming at Bernie with his Medicare for all, basically saying it's out of reach. Nevertheless, 4 states are still going to have their primaries despite the pandemic. Those states being Ohio, Arizona, Illinois, and Florida. Actually, Louisiana and Georgia have postponed their primaries. Puerto Rico is going to postpone its primaries as well. Nevertheless, in Arizona, though, the only issue is that the largest county in the state, Maricopa, they actually are shutting down a third of their polling stations due to the coronavirus. So we'll see how those results turn out. Green War and graduation. The New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So on Saturday, there were actually rockets that hit a base in Iraq that actually housed U.S. military troops. Now, this was in retaliation for an airstrike that was done by the United States last week that went at Iranian-backed bases that actually ended up, according to Iraqi officials, taking the lives of 6 people. Now, that in itself was a retaliation to an unclaimed rockets attack against that ended up killing a British Army medic and 2 U.S. soldiers. So the president of Iraq, Barham Salih, is actually warning that these attacks by the U.S., they can actually push Iraq into a failed state and allow for Islamic State to actually come into power. So motherfuckers need to ease up. And Green War graduation. The New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So remember longtime vocal LGBTQ activist, police brutality critic, Rio de Janeiro council member in Brazil, Marielle Franco, who was just assassinated just a little over 2 years ago. I shout her out in the beginning of BFN World Broadcast number 11. You can go to blackfoxnews.com/broadcast and check it out, or to youtube.com/blackfoxnews, see the World Broadcast playlist. Nevertheless, this was an important woman and had a lot of clout, and the people that took her out are being uncovered or being revealed slowly. And now you have a Ronnie Lesser and Elcio Cuero, two former military police officers that are actually on trial for Franco's assassination. The judge also said that they were going to try them for the assassination of Franco's driver and her aide at the time of the ambush. Keep in mind that another hitman that was linked to the crime was actually assassinated by police last February. So shit is getting thicker. Green War on graduation. The new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Make sure you sign my petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. All link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or in my Instagram account, GradyGrant716. You can find the link in the bio. Takes you to the petition, lays out exactly why you should be removed from the platform. Spreading lies, misinfo, putting us, U.S. troops in danger, violating Twitter policies, man. You gotta get them out of there. Now, on Twitter, he was on Twitter Sunday basically saying how he was going to fully pardon his former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, who actually had to plead guilty to the FBI, to lying to the FBI regarding the investigation that they had about Russian interference in the 2016 election. He had to plead guilty to lying about this shit. Nevertheless, Trump said, well, while this, after ruining his family, and I'm paraphrasing on the tweet, but after ruining his family, now his files are lost. Like, I'm seriously considering a full pardon, but nobody knows what files he's talking about. Right? So that's where he's at, though. Green War on graduation.